What? No, I didn't. No, I didn't bike in the rain to go see Cloud Atlas. What up, y'all? It's the Black Critic Guy, and I just got back from seeing Cloud Atlas. And yes, what I said in the beginning is true. I did bike in the rain to go see this movie. And you know what? Totally worth it. This is one of the best films the Wachowskis have ever made, period. It is so mesmerizing, it's brilliant, it's captivating. Any words that you can think to describe this movie, it is, and more. Now, it's hard to explain what the plot of Cloud Atlas is, but it basically follows a series of stories told in the past, the present, and the future, and they all interlink in some way, shape, or form. Now, many of you might not know this, but I'm actually a huge fan of the Wachowski brothers. Wait a minute. They're not brothers anymore. I meant to say I'm a big fan of the Wachowskis. I mean, I really love The Matrix. The second and third, they're kind of iffy, but I did enjoy them for the most part. I didn't really watch Speed Racer, so I can't really judge them on that, but I heard it's terrible. But I think if I give it a try, I might like it. And I really loved V for Vendetta, and I have not seen Ninja Assassin, but I heard that was really good too. And I also didn't see Run Lola Run, who was directed by the same person that helped direct this movie with the Wachowskis. And like I said, this movie is brilliant. It is breathtaking. Yes, it's kind of polarizing. I've seen a bunch of other reviewers talk about it, and they're very polarized by it because it is very confusing. But if you actually sit back and think about some of the things in the movie, they all make sense. There's a meaning to all of it, I promise you. Like the way all the stories are connected is by one thing, and I don't want to say what it is. I want you guys to figure it out because you'll see it again and again and again, and it actually has a significant meaning behind it. And when I figured it out, I actually figured it out while I was watching the movie. I was like, oh, that's why that's there. There's a reason behind everything. Even some of the things the characters say will foreshadow events that will happen later on. Now let's start with the visuals and the direction. It is superb. The directing style of these three directors is fantastic, and the visuals gave me a feel of like I was watching The Matrix again. Like, there are elements that are just kind of like The Matrix, but it was just breathtaking. These visuals and the direction and the way that they positioned their cameras and all of that is just, it was glorious. The acting is superb. I can't really say who stood out of the group because they were all fantastic. Each one of them had their own, like, they were the main character of that story, and you were just convinced, you were motivated, you were captivated by these characters. There were some heart-wrenching moments, touching moments in this movie. Some scenes in this movie drove me to tears. One of the things that complemented the emotions of the scene, besides the acting, was actually the musical score. It was brilliant. Like, it really does play off the emotions of the scene, and you can really feel it. It drives you to tears, or it makes you laugh, or it makes you smile, or it makes you really feel for this character. And all the actors played different roles in the past, present, or future, which all of them had various ranges, except for one person. That was actually Hugo Weaving. He played the same character in the past, and in the present, and in the future, and I was just like, why? Come on, give Hugo Weaving another role besides that role, because he played kind of like the baddie in all of the stories, and I was like, no, I want to see him play a good guy. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was great, but I wanted him to play something different. Now let's talk about the writing and the story. Now, a lot of people are going to get really confused about the story and the writing, and I have not read the book. I want to now after seeing this movie to see how it compares to this movie, but the writing I felt was really superb. This movie really makes you think, like, have we lived past lives? Do we occasionally bump into the same person time and time again in our lives and we just don't realize it? It has this whole thing about, you know, reincarnation, and you know how the Wachowskis, they always deal with the ideology of freeing yourself and, you know, the philosophy of what comes after death. And I really liked how they highlighted that. They didn't hammer it into us like they did in The Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolution. In this one, it was a little more subtle, but they did make it, you know, prevalent in the story. I mean, they didn't sugarcoat it. They made it very obvious what they were trying to say, but the way that they handled it was why I really enjoyed it. It didn't feel like it was being shoved down our throats. It was just like, here, we're presenting this to you. I also want to mention that this movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and it went like that. The pacing of this movie was handled excellently. The editing kinda was a bit jumbled at times because, like, there wasn't a good parallel for when they jumped from the past to the present to the future. It didn't seem to have quite the parallel that I wanted to have. But at some scenes, like the tone, the atmosphere, the tension in the scene does complement the scene that it jumps to afterwards, and I was like, oh, okay, that one made sense. I wish they did that more when they did jump from scene to scene. Now, I actually had only 2 problems with the movie, but after thinking about it, it actually made sense why it happened. And one of them is that some of the actors will play characters of different ethnicities, and it just looked terrible. Like, Hugo Weaving plays a Korean at one point in this movie, and I was like, guy doesn't look Korean, he looks white. And there was another guy who's a white actor who played a Korean, and I was like, nah, no, looks terrible. I mean, they played ethnicities that they weren't, and it just felt weird and kind of strange, but like I said, in some parts it actually made sense why they played that type of ethnicity, and other times, not so much. I felt like they just threw that in because they wanted to just throw that in. And going back to the characters, you might think that because the same actor is playing that character, you think, oh, that's the reincarnation of them in this time. And it's kinda, but at the same time, it could have been played by somebody else because the characteristic and personality is not the same in the next life or the life previous before it. But like I said, later on, it makes sense why they played these characters, some of them, not all of them. And I don't want to say too much about this movie that gives things away. I really think that you all need to go see it for yourselves and just be at all at what you're seeing, because it is a phenomenal movie. I swear to God, one of the best movies I've seen all year. So overall, as you can tell, with a few minor problems that I have with the movie, I really just enjoyed this movie. It's one of the best movies the Wachowskis have ever made. They are back, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome them with open arms, and I want to see more from them because I have faith in them again, that they can make a spectacular movie. I can't wait to see more from them. And I want to see Run Lola Run now because of how great this movie is, because I think this director this guy has potential, and he does some good work in this movie. The acting's superb, the writing's superb, the musical score is brilliant. Everything about this movie, it's meticulously thought out, well done, and I honestly think you all need to see it. I give this movie a 4.5 out of 5 stars. It is a near perfect movie, and I hope that it gets nominated in the Oscars. I really think this movie can run for Best Picture. It is that good. But anyway, what did you guys think of this film? Did you like it a lot and would bike in the rain to go see it? Or did you just find it distasteful and uninteresting and it was too long and confusing? And let me know, what is your favorite Wachowskis movie? Comment below, let me know. Anyway, I'm the Black Critic Guy, bridging the gap between movies and anime reviews. Till then, peace, YouTube.